What's good, y'all? It's your boy Shane Hector coming at you live from WBGR Studio. No BS, no holds barred sports talk show is back in the building. This is what we do. We're back at it again. I got a lot of things to talk to you guys about today, so it's about to get real, it's about to get raw, and I'm about to get real interesting because I got to let you guys know how exactly I'm feeling right now about all this madness that's going on in sports that everybody's not paying attention to. So I'm going to bring it to your attention today. So that number to call is going to be 301-429-9247. That's going to be that number to call. And I want you guys to understand something. There's a certain someone in the NFL. It seems to, like he just likes to wave his little magic wand like he's Donald Trump. Like he's a dictator. My bad. I mean, he's only the commissioner, of the NFL, I got a lot of things to say. Let's talk about it. Roger Goodell. This man, he dishes out suspensions like he's dishing out candy. I mean, it's literally becoming like a staple like every single season now. So last season, I couldn't even count. It was so many players suspended last year. And I'm still like mind boggled at the fact that this man is like still judge, jury, and executioner again over and over and over and over again. This is really ridiculous. So I've got a long list of guys that I want all of y'all to take a look at right now. And let me tell you about this list. So this list right here, let's get into it. First off, this man Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster was accused of abuse and all kinds of different charges, right? But here's the thing that I think everybody fails to understand. So this man goes to court. He gets cleared by police. The girl they found out that the girl that they brought the charges against him had lied to the police department. So they dropped the case, but he still gets 2 games for a crime he didn't even commit. Now, I would have understood if he committed the crime, then obviously the crime fits the punishment. But you give the man 2 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy. You know what this sounds like? I'm just going to call it what it is. I think this is the NFL trying to save face with women because they feel like there's a lot of movements right now, especially regarding domestic abuse, domestic violence, and sexual abuse. They feel like they got to do everything possible to save face, even though that man was cleared. Therein lies the issue. And it's like, unless you're going to suspend somebody based on facts, it's like, are you really trying to save face? Or you're just contradicting yourself in order to save your tail because you know that most of your money comes from women. But maybe I'm the one that's wrong, though. And don't get it twisted. I understand. The Me Too movement is very real. It's very real. It's nothing to play with. And, this is why I always say to people, that is any guy that does that kind of stuff, you just can't do it. You just can't. And the thing is you have, and this was and this has been reported on NFL.com, all over their page, guys who've been suspended. And then you've got guys, now Vontaze Burfict, we already know he's Mr. I get suspended like every year himself. Okay? Jameis Winston. Okay, so I hate to say this. Jameis Winston, we knew he was going to be suspended because the truth is the punishment fit the crime. In fact, I actually thought he should have got more games because he just doesn't know when to quit. It's like, dude, you already had issues in college with the same problem. Now you're having the same problem again in the NFL. Do you not know when to quit? There are some guys where it fits the crime. But in this case, it doesn't fit. But in this case, I'm just trying to figure this out. Then Aaron Jones. Okay, performance enhancing drugs. Here we go. What define performance enhancing drugs, Mr. Goodell? Julian Edelman. That was a funny one to me. How are you going to suspend Julian Edelman on a failed drug test, which he filed paperwork for? He filed the paperwork. It just didn't get to you some way, somehow. But he filed the correct paperwork, but you suspend him for 4 games, and then after that he appeals, and then all of a sudden you uphold the suspension. You know what that tells me? It feels like you have a certain vendetta against New England because it's or any player that fights against you. This is why at the end of my show it's going to be really funny when I talk about some of the issues that I know a lot of players are raising, because you can't punish someone based on hearsay. You need to bring your facts. The facts are Reuben Foster shouldn't be suspended. The facts are, you really gonna bring that in? You're gonna really bring charges against Julian Edelman for what? Because you want to save face with the league? You want to show that, that you're that guy, that you could do the hard thing? Congratulations, Mr. Goodell. You have a history of doing that. I mean, it was reported last season, that when you suspended Ezekiel Elliott, you knew that this girl was lying, and yet you still suspended him for 6 games. I'm just simply saying. I'm just trying to figure that out. Because for Ezekiel Elliott to be suspended for the 6 games that he was suspended for last year's allegations, it's like are you kidding me? This doesn't make sense. But again, who am I? I'm just a guy that's just analyzing the situation. And then what I want people to understand is this about Roger Goodell. The thing is we it was reported on the Business Insider from last year on November 9, 2017, that not only Roger Goodell lied, but he lied. He gonna lie to Jerry Jones about Elliott's suspension, and it's like, why did you lie to him for? It was really nothing to lie about. You knew you was gonna suspend him, but you did it anyway. And you're gonna tell him that you're not gonna do it, but you still did it anyway. And what people have to understand is this is the kind of commissioner that we have in this league, and this is the guy that, like I said, is judge, jury, and executioner. He's the guy that he wants to assert himself. And now this was reported by Tyler Lauletta from the Business Insider, that even though he was given a 6-game suspension, here's the thing. Roger Goodell said to Jerry Jones that Zeke would not be suspended because he was never criminally charged. He maintained his innocence throughout. He appealed and appealed and appealed. And then also he filed an injunction. And then all of a sudden, I look at it like this. And then citing the source, it was reported that Jones has said Jerry Jones himself considered it an unforgivable breach of trust between him and Roger Goodell, which is why last year, if everybody remembers, Jerry Jones tried to block Roger Goodell's contract extension. That's why. Because everybody thought he was just mad because he got suspended that Zeke got suspended for 6 games. No, it was more so Zeke got suspended for 6 games for something he did not do. And then you're going to tell the owner of that team that you're not going to suspend him, but you still did it anyway. I think what this comes down to is Roger Goodell doesn't want to look stupid because he knows that half the time half the stuff that he does is a crock of stuff. I mean, look at the. I mean, look at the. Let's look at the facts of Deflategate. If you go back to Deflategate when he fought, when he suspended Tom Brady for 4 games. When he suspended Tom Brady for 4 games, he had one. There was no evidence that he in fact deflated footballs. In fact, it was written in a 243-page report that he paid $5 million for, just to say it is more probable than not that he may, I want people to understand this, may have deflated footballs. May have. Now, think about what I just said. May have deflated footballs. If that is the case, then you know what that says? That means that you never had your facts straight. And it doesn't look good for the commissioner of the NFL to not have his facts straight, because he's the top dog. He's the top guy. He's the guy that has to know everything that's going on in his league. Because the problem is, if he doesn't, well, let's be honest, then what's the point of you being the commissioner of the NFL? They could easily pay some poor schmuck. Is it something else to be the commissioner of the NFL? I'm just saying. You know? And this is what happens when you let a guy like him get all that power in the CBA. Point blank. Period. You just can't do things like that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to just get into it and just straight up say it. This list right behind me, some of it may be justified, but let's be honest, most of these cases aren't justified. They're not. Never have been, never will be, because we all know Roger Goodell. He will do anything to save face because he doesn't want to look stupid. He doesn't want to look like he's incompetent at his job. And for him to be the commissioner of the NFL, it also says that he's not a very competent guy at what he does. He's competent enough to do his job in a certain ability, in a certain capacity, but he doesn't know. He doesn't really know how to run the NFL. I honestly think this man has just been winging it this whole time. It's just like, you know what, let me just be a dictator and let me just do this, that, and the third. And that's what it comes down to. But again, who am I? I'm just a guy that's just analyzing the situation, but you know, that's none of my business. So, real quick, folks, I'm gonna take a quick commercial break. When I come back, I'm going to have some more interesting things to talk about. So stay tuned on the No BS Show.
It's the new, all-natural, family-friendly pharmacy, Family Choice Pharmacy, located at 8313 Annapolis Road, New Carrollton, Maryland. Family Choice offers alternative medicines as well as discount programs you can easily enjoy. Come be a part of our family at Family Choice Pharmacy, as every family should know their pharmacist. If you're looking to join the family today, you can reach us at 301-577-1212 at Family Choice Pharmacy.
If you like to roller skate, you will love Lanham Skate Center. We offer all kinds of specials, birthday parties, skate classes, and more. You can even reserve the rink for a special event. Skate rentals only $3, so roll on over to Lanham Skate Center today. Located at 9901 Lanham Severn Road in Lanham, Maryland. For more information about our weekly schedule, visit us on the web at lanhamskatecenter.com or call for more information at 301-577-1733. That's 301-577-1733.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a team that I know a lot of people are going to be like, why? I'm going to say the reason why I had to bring them up because I was having a conversation the other day with somebody about the Cleveland Browns, about where they can go from this point on, and how they're looking pretty stacked. So, I mean, these guys got nowhere to go but up, right? I mean, that's just what it comes down to. They don't really have no other place to go, right? Well, let's look at it. The Browns road to the playoffs. Well, here's the problem. They're in the AFC North, so that's the first thing. You're going to have some very serious problems in that division, because I don't care what anybody say. The AFC North, to me, is hands down the Rough Rider division, because literally every team in that division has had top 10 defenses for years. And on top of them having top 10 defenses for years, they also hard-hitting defenses. Shout out to Mr. Ross Dennis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mr. Jabari Emanuel, Michelle Owens. Thank you so much. Again, folks, if you want to debate me on this topic above me, it's 301-429-9247. That's going to be the number to call me today. 301-429-9247. So, let's look at the facts. The facts are, I don't see how the Browns are going to be that great. I mean, let's look at the stats. These guys, I probably shouldn't laugh, because it's really actually kind of funny. They've only won 4 games within the past 3 years. Now, I want you to think about that. There's 16 games a year, right? So that means there's 16 per year. So you look at the past 3 years, they went 3-13 one year, 1-15 one year, and then last year they didn't even win any games. They got nowhere to go but up, right? Because they was going all the way down anyway. 4 games in the past 3 years. That means what happened the other 44 games that you didn't win? Well, we all saw what happened last year. I mean, the dudes couldn't even catch a cold. That's just what it comes down to. They couldn't even catch a cold. How you only get 4 wins in literally the past couple of years? That's just really utterly ridiculous. But here's the dynamic in play, though, right? They got a new roster. They added some pieces. You add Tyrod Taylor. You add Jarvis Landry. Josh Gordon's coming back. You got a couple running backs. You got a couple of guys. There's no way. That's just what it comes down to. I mean, I just have to look at the facts. I mean, the very last game of the season, when they really could have won that game, the dude, all you had to do was catch the ball. That is all you had to do. You are a paid NFL wide receiver. You got one job, and your one job was to catch the football, and you couldn't even do that. So, you couldn't even do that. But it is what it is. The Browns couldn't catch a cold last year. Now the problem is, the Ravens then stacked up on offense because they added Lamar Jackson as their quarterback. So I think the Ravens are going to be a pretty decent football team. I just don't think they're going to have the receivers to really get it done, because I don't think not any of the Ravens receivers are even remotely good. Pittsburgh will be Pittsburgh. The only problem is we got to see what Big Ben is going to do, because we all know Big Ben. Big Ben, he likes to play with Pittsburgh about retirement. Then let's also look at the facts. The facts are, it's up in the air with Le'Veon Bell. But, ladies and gentlemen, I've got to talk about my man Baker Mayfield, and I got to talk about my man Tyrod Taylor. So Tyrod, I think what people understand is like, I'm not going to compare these guys for when they were both, when these guys are in the league. I'm going to compare these guys when they were both in college, because obviously they were in college at 2 totally different times. Little do people know about them. Let me show you the stats real quick about both of these guys. So, Baker Mayfield played 48 games, okay? Has over 14,000 passing yards, about 131 touchdowns to only 30 interceptions. That is a pretty decent, touchdown to interception ratio. Pretty decent, right? Then let's look at Tyrod Taylor's college career. Okay, because I'm comparing both college careers of both quarterbacks. Now if you want to go look at the source is sportsreference.com if you want to check that out, because that's where it's coming from. So, right here, 50 games, 495 completions, 865 attempts. I mean, had a 57% completion percentage. I hate to say this, that doesn't even sound remotely good. 7,000 passing yards, 44 passing touchdowns, but there's 20 interceptions. Now, both quarterbacks had a decent QBR. Okay, Baker Mayfield had a 175.4. Taylor had a 137.5 in his college career. Now, who obviously is the most experienced quarterback out of the two? Well, obviously that's going to be Taylor, because Taylor, right now, because he was in the NFL for a while, he played for the Ravens, he was a backup, didn't get a start. Next thing you know, he goes to the Buffalo Bills. And after him going to the Buffalo Bills, that actually changed his life, because now all of a sudden he's a better guy, he's a better quarterback, and he's able to do the things that he likes to do. And he took the Bills last year to a 9-7 playoff spot. Now, of course, they got smacked in the very first game, but I mean, it is what it is. He ends up seeing Jacksonville, and then, things happened, you couldn't exactly, do his thing, but it is what it is. So, what it's going to come down to is this. Hugh Jackson already named Tyrod Taylor the guy. You already named him the guy. There's one problem I have with that, though. Everybody who knows me knows I love my Sooners. Do I think Baker Mayfield is going to be a good quarterback? I mean, let's look at his stature. He's 6'1", 220 pounds. That's what he's listed as on NFL.com and also SportsReference.com. However, the problem is you're 6'1", 220 in the AFC North. Everybody knows who knows the AFC North. That means you got to see Baltimore, the Baltimore Ravens, twice. You got to see the Pittsburgh Steelers twice. Then you got to see the Cincinnati Bengals twice. And then whatever teams else that you got to play for the rest of that season. And then now the Cleveland Browns, their schedule is not easy. They do not have an easy schedule. I'm going to tell you that right now. Their schedule this year is going to be really, really tough. And the reason why I'm telling you it's going to be tough is because, first off, your division alone is not going to allow you to just do whatever it is that you would like to do. Okay? Now, they did pick up Nick Chubb in the draft, so because they needed a running back. They picked up a corner. Okay? So that looks pretty good. But here's the problem that I think everybody is kind of missing. Their regular season schedule, their first game, they're going to have to see Pittsburgh. Then they got to go to their first game, they got to see Pittsburgh. Then the next game, they got to go to the New Orleans Saints. If the New Orleans Saints play the way I expect them to play, they're not going to beat New Orleans. Now, they'll beat the Jets because the Jets is trash. They've been trash for a long time. Nobody wants to say it what it is. I'm going to say it. They trash. And on top of that, they're in the same division as New England. So, this is what it is. The thing is, if I had to choose which guy of who I would like to start, I'm going with this guy. I'm gonna go with Tyrod Taylor. I mean, not Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with Tyrod. You gotta go with Tyrod because of one reason and one reason why. Tyrod got playoff experience. He's been in the playoffs. He's been in the league for a long time. And on top of that, with Tyrod, here's the great thing about Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is also mobile, and he can show Baker Mayfield how to be mobile in this league, especially in the AFC North, because I'm going to say it like this. Tyrod Taylor had to see New England twice. He almost beat New England, but we're not going to talk about that phantom drop pass by Kelvin Benjamin. We're not going to talk about that though, because I might upset some New England fans out there. But according to the Zebras, that was they didn't drop any passes. I mean, they did drop a pass, but that's none of my business. But again, folks, 301-429-9247 is the number to call. Now, here's the other thing, right? The other great thing about Tyrod in this situation is Tyrod Taylor is in a position right now where he can get the Browns to the playoffs. He's got guys to throw to. He'll have Jarvis Landry. He'll have Josh Gordon. Those two alone is going to be a lot of problems because there's not going to be really any other guys for him to throw to because they got Njoku. Njoku is a really good tight end out of the Miami Hurricanes. Now the Hurricanes, they have been making a lot of noise in college football, so that team is up and coming. That college football team is up and coming, so I will watch out for them in this upcoming season. This is why it's really going to get exciting because this quarterback battle here is going to be interesting. Tyrod will make sure he keeps his job, but Baker Mayfield is going to be lighting the fire under him. With that little lighter, that little big lighter. He's going to be lighting that fire right underneath him to make him move a little faster and make him throw those touchdowns. Because if Hugh Jackson thinks that he's not going to perform, then Baker will have to start. Now, here's the thing. I would go with this. Tyrod Taylor is going to do his thing. I think he's going to take them to a possible 9-7, possible 10-6 season. Possible. He'll definitely get you some wins. But it's just that he's going to have a very, very tough road. I'm not going to act like he's not going to have a tough road this year. This season is going to be really tough for the Cleveland Browns. And then it's like, for the Browns, they have to see everybody from the NFC South. I can tell you right now, the NFC South ain't going to be nothing to play with because that right now is one of the toughest divisions in the NFC. Mainly because last season, if everybody looks at last season, there were 3 teams out of that division that made the playoffs: the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers. 3 of those teams made the playoffs. The Saints finished 11-5, won the division. The Panthers were 11-5. They won the wild card spot. And then the Falcons finished 10-6. And they got the last wild card spot of the season. It was a really, really rough year last year for the NFC. It was tough. I mean, there wasn't a team that wasn't tough last year. So it's like, no matter what you did, it didn't make a difference. You had to at least have 10 wins last year in the NFC. The NFC has stepped up completely. So, with that being said, then let's also look at this. They also have to see they're going to have to see the Chargers, which I can tell you right now, the Chargers are probably going to be a nasty team. They're going to have to see Kansas City. They're going to have to see the Raiders. They're probably not going to, and if the Raiders ball out, hopefully, then they're going to have problems with that too. And then the Denver Broncos, well, I mean, I think they're going to be a garbage team this year. In fact, I actually got them going 4-12. I don't even think the Broncos are going to be remotely good this year. So, Cleveland might have a chance in that one. But Kansas City, with that Patrick Mahomes, I highly doubt the Cleveland Browns are going to beat them. So, I figure 9-7 would be probably best for the Browns under Tyrod Taylor. But I don't think that Baker Mayfield, we're going to see him at all this year. I think we might see him sit out most of the season unless Tyrod Taylor gets hurt. If Tyrod Taylor gets hurt, which I hate to say it's probably going to be most likely to happen because we all saw what happened last year. They lost 3 quarterbacks in the same half. We've seen it happen. It's sad. But this is the reality of the Cleveland Browns. For any of you Browns fans out there, I understand y'all frustration. Especially since LeBron James left town. This is the best thing this is going to be going for you. So, gotta applaud those fans for sticking with their team. But at the end of the day, Tyrod Taylor right now is your best shot. He is your best shot at winning all this. And that's just what I see. That's just what it comes down to. And there's really nothing else to say about it. But it is what it is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we got to talk about boxing, right? Don't go anywhere on the No BS Show.
Have you been looking for a new car? Godwin Motors has got you covered. Check out their credit stimulus package sales event. 100% credit approval regardless of credit and emergency lenders on hand. Godwin Motors is located at 9071 Lanham Severn Road in Lanham, Maryland, 20706. Log on to their website at www.godwinmotorsonline.com or call 301-577-0400. That's 301-577-0400. That's Godwin Motors. And let them know you heard about them on WBGRsports.com.
Times are hard for many people in America today, but change can begin when you take action for yourself. Help is here. Log on to mymoneymyfreedom.com and get connected with a proven recession-proof company that has been helping people find financial freedom for nearly a decade. Whether you're looking to supplement or replace your income, they can help. They're a company with a AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau, and they do business in over 40 countries. Log on to mymoneymyfreedom.com. No selling soap, perfume, or makeup to your family and friends. No cold calling or knocking on doors for customers. They bring the customers right to you. The first step is yours. Take action now. Log on to mymoneymyfreedom.com. Their team of professionals are ready to help you succeed. Don't wait. Take action now. Start improving your financial future and put the passion back in your life. Log on to mymoneymyfreedom.com. That's mymoneymyfreedom.com. Take action now.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I got to talk about Triple G. And this man, Canelo Alvarez. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been real fun talking about these two. And a quote that I'm going to quote right now from Triple G's promoter on ESPN.com in an interview that was done. Triple G's promoter Tom Loeffler said that this fight between Canelo Alvarez is too big not to happen. And I'm gonna say this to Mr. Loeffler. You're right. You're absolutely right. This fight is too big to not happen. But here's the problem with this. Here's the issue with the Triple G and Alvarez fight. I'm not so sure Triple G really wants this fight because I think he's probably over it. And I think he's more like, why am I wasting my time about to fight this dude? Because if everybody saw the first time these two saw each other, we all know what really happened. Triple G was mopping the floor with them. But, the refs, the judges had other plans. This is just how it goes. And it's really sad that, you had to do that to that man. That's what it comes down to. So, here's what I say. Let the guys fight. Let the guys fight. Let them fight. Just let them fight. Because you know why? When you let them fight, it is what it is. We're going to take a look at their stats right now. And I just want people to know what these guys are looking like. So, Alvarez, 49-1-2. You got 2 draws in his career. Everybody should know where that one loss came from. From Mr. Floyd Money Mayweather. Yes, sir. The champ himself beat this dude. And everybody remembers that fight because that was when Alvarez threw that punch. And then Mayweather did a look back on that punch when he swung. It was very disrespectful, by the way, because I remember that fight like it was yesterday. It was really, really interesting. Triple G, well, 38-0-1 with 34 knockouts. 34 knockouts, and that comes from BoxRec.com, okay? So, Triple G is 38-0-1. Now, obviously, the one draw came from this fight against Alvarez. Now, I want people to know this. Triple G is going to win this fight, whether people like it or not. Shout out to Mr. Mendez for tuning in. Thank you so much, sir. At the end of the day, Triple G is going to mop the floor with this dude when he finally gets him in the ring. Now, the problem is when is this fight going to happen? Well, we already know what's going to happen in September. It's going to happen in September, right? But then here is the issue. Oscar De La Hoya, I for the life of me, I'm just trying to understand this dude. He is trying to, he's trying his hardest to, like, promote this fight. But the problem is he feels like he had to shell out millions of dollars of his own money to try to save this fight between Alvarez and Triple G. And that was as of June 19th. Now, I don't really know what the problem is because right now, like, there's a huge money issue between the two fighters because it's supposed to be a 50-50 fight. And obviously, whoever's the winner, obviously, there's a lot at stake in this fight. And I think that's what everybody doesn't understand. There's a lot at stake in this fight. So, for starters, obviously, if Alvarez wins, then, he'll be able to get another championship belt in that weight class that they're in. However, if, he loses, well, then he just won't get another rematch with Triple G, and Triple G will pretty much, be on top of his division, and there's really going to be nothing else to really talk about. Now, the other thing is, with Alvarez, is that's where he gets the gain, and then obviously he wins some money. Triple G, on the other hand, he has a lot more to lose. 1, money. 2, championship belt. So there's a lot more at stake in this fight for both fighters right now. That's just what it comes down to. And so and Oscar De La Hoya as it reported this on TMZ. Now, this rematch, because this is going to be part 2. So I want people to understand something about this being part 2. Is part 2 of this madness, okay? He goes on to say that Triple G wanted a bigger piece of the pie, but he wasn't going to get it from Canelo's side. So that's just what it comes down to. And so here's the thing. When this fight happens, then it's going to come down to is who's going to win. If you ask me who I believe is going to win this fight, you know who I'm going with. I'm going with Mr. Triple G himself. I already know what it is. That guy is going to beat the brakes off of him, call it a day. He's going to smack him up and down the ring. But it's going to come down to is after he wins, then what? What's next for Triple G after that point? Because there's really going to be no other fighters for him to really fight because everybody else is not going to be on even remotely on the same level. And then I know somebody is going to be the troll and tell me, well, maybe you should fight Mayweather. Mayweather's retired. Because I've already had this conversation with somebody outside of the show. Mayweather retired. He's 50-0. He is not coming back to boxing. He doesn't need to come back to boxing. In fact, all he needs to do is sit around and promote his brand. Period. No ifs or buts about it. Triple G is done. Triple G will be done at that point. He'll be 39-0. And then he could go for the 50 wins if he wants to, but then at that point, it's like, okay, well, you can go for 50 wins, but then that means you got to fight 11 other fights with probably either 11 different fighters, or fight the same fighters that you've already fought. And so, with Alvarez, dude, you're 49-1-2. The truth is nobody's going to care about you, especially since you got suspended from boxing anyway for 6 months because of the fact that you claimed that the meat was tainted. And there was already enough shade going around between the two of you. It was already enough shade going around. I mean, Triple G is already threw shade at him, talking about make sure you check that meat. But at the end of the day, Triple G is going to beat the brakes off this dude and call it a day. There's really nothing else to say about it. Do I believe that Alvarez has a chance? Of course he has a chance. We've seen Alvarez against Mayweather. He had a chance in that fight. It's just that he found a way to lose. Like he always does. He found a way to lose. And then in this one, I mean, that's just what it is. I don't see how this dude shouldn't have lost that last fight. He should have lost the first time against Triple G. But unfortunately, the judges had other plans. And now, then there's going to be the other issue that I know nobody's talking about, is who will be the judges in this match. Because if they have the same judges, we might have a problem. Now, the likelihood of that happening is unlikely. But we got to see who the judges are going to be. And these are the facts. And so, for Triple G, you're going to fight him. The fight is set in September. In mid-September. You're going to go fight the guy in Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. Everybody knows what that's going to be like. It's going to be a fun match. It's going to be the same old stuff, different day for him. I mean, the fight is big enough. The fight is there. I mean, his trainer and his promoter already said, look, let's get Izzy. Let's make this fight happen. But I think in Triple G's mind, do I need to beat this? Do I need to pound on this dude again so that way everybody understands that I can pound this dude all day long? But, hey, what can you do? I'm just a guy that's just analyzing the situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we're going to talk about the NFL, and we're going to talk about some things that might be brewing in the NFL. So don't go anywhere in the No BS Show.
When's the last time someone said thanks for checking over your shoulder before changing lanes? Or gave you a pat on the back for sticking to the speed limit? Or a thumbs up for not tailgating? Probably never. Which is too bad considering safe drivers make the roads safer for everyone. That's why Allstate appreciates safe drivers like no one else. And they show it by saving you 45% or more, along with giving you safe driving bonus checks, deductible rewards, and extra discounts with the DriveWise app. So the next time you come to a complete stop in an intersection, ask yourself, why haven't I switched to Allstate?
The Brandeo Insurance Group, your local DMV Allstate agent, can help you save 45% or more for driving safely. Call him at 410-424-0844 and get a quote today.
It pays to drive safely. Call a local Allstate agent today and find out how you can save 45% or more. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Do you like to travel? Do you like to make money? Well, here's a way you can do both. Vacation Travel allows you the luxury of doing just that. If you want access to unpublished fares, reduced rates for travel agents, access to worldwide selection for family, group cruises, and all types of destination travel, then contact www.kingscourt.vacation.com or call 240 240-393-7962. That's 240-393-7962. You deserve to travel like royalty. See you on your next vacation.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. NFL. Lockouts. Look, I know you guys don't want to hear this, but let me tell you guys something. Late last year, there was an article posted by SportsIllustrated.com how the NFLPA's union president, Eric Winston, said that an NFL lockout will be inevitable for 2021 when the CBA is finally up. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because just a couple of weeks ago, Todd Gurley talked about a lockout as well. Now, I want people to understand this. Okay? Now, this was reported on... Todd Gurley said... Now, and I'm going to quote this. Todd Gurley says, "We really don't have a choice but to try to fight on a potential lockout." Now, this post was written on July 7th by Sean Wayne and McCall. And so I want people to understand something about this and how this is going to affect, your NFL season. If there is in fact a lockout in 2021, which by the way, it's not that far off. That's only a couple of years from now. Players want guaranteed contracts. Players want Roger Goodell to have less power. Players want to be able to have a lot more leeway to be able to move around the NFL in the way they so please. The problem is these owners in the NFL, they don't want to bend to it. Now, it really kind of stinks because for an NFL player, I want people to understand this. The highest paid NFL player right now makes, $137 million? And that's Jimmy Garoppolo, and the guy barely even started 6 games. That's the highest paid NFL player, but the highest paid NBA player gets $201 million. And that guy's name is, Steph Curry. Steph Curry. And I want people to understand it from a perspective of this. This isn't the first time that a lockout has ever happened in the NFL. I don't know why people are acting like, oh, this is, they ain't gonna lock out. They've done it before, and they will definitely do it again. People don't understand. So I'm gonna go back to the 1987 strike. Let me tell you something about the 1987 strike. Okay. First off, the league was locked out of the NFL for, it was a crucial amount of games. 1987. The 1987 strike was bad. It was on December 30th that the NFLPA judge overturned the league's rules restricting free agency. They had played only a 15-game season, so they missed 1 week, and they tried to sign replacement players, but obviously that didn't work. And the crazy thing is that wasn't the only lockout, because because only 5 years earlier, there was a 57-day long strike beginning after 2 games of the NFL season, and they canceled 7 games. 7 games. And then what they had to do was they had to do a 16-team playoff tournament. And then the new CBA had to return lost salary to the players for the games missed and upgrade benefits and healthcare coverage. Because that was the result after that lockout in 1982. Then the same thing happened in 1987. I don't know why everybody's acting surprised, like, oh, not lockout's not going to happen again. Oh, yes, it will happen again. If you think for a second that it won't, believe me, it will. I think the issue with the NFL, it seems like this has always been the issue with the NFL. Under D Maurice Smith, these guys have been fighting the good fight. And I want people to understand something about this. I want you guys to understand this about the NFL. It seems that when somebody fights against the machine, they want to go after the smaller guys. Look at Tom Brady. Suspended for 4 games for something that they don't even have facts for. The same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. The man was suspended 6 games for something they didn't even have facts for. But because of the current CBA, the judge is always going to uphold it at this point, because the problem is, in the CBA, you have allowed Roger Goodell to be judge, jury, executioner. So therefore, everything has to go through him. Now, he can try to create a transparent process all he wants. It's not going to make a real difference. And then, in 2011, when they had a lockout, here was the problem. The union filed a collusion claim against owners regarding lack of movement between restricted free agents. That's what it is. Then, they also believe that they didn't do anything in good faith. The federal mediator begins a week of mediations on February 18th. For a couple of sessions, and then up until the CBA's expiration. And then what ended up happening is they ended up collecting $4 billion, even if no games are played in the 2011 lockout, for the lockout insurance policy. So the NFL collected some money from that lockout in 2011. But ultimately, everybody better thank Bob Kraft and Jerry Jones, because they saved the NFL season that year. Because it was going to be locked out all the way up until literally the beginning of the first game. They shortened the preseason. It was what it was. And teams were able to do what they needed to do, make their evaluations, and then there you go. They ended up doing what they had to do. Here's the thing. Todd Gurley brings up a really great point. You don't have a choice but to fight, because we've seen this time and time again with any kind of labor union in any job. If there's a way, when employees want certain protections, they want certain monies, they want certain things that they want in their contracts. Well, guess what? You gotta go before a judge. You gotta come to the table and agree to certain things that'll work out for both sides. Now, Todd also brings this up. He's upset about the fact that NBA players are getting paid getting the big contracts, whereas NFL players do not. Okay, so then let me break it down to you folks, so that way everybody's on the same page here. I hear what he's saying. However, NBA players play 82 games a year, not including playoffs. I'm just saying, they play 82 games a year not including playoffs. Also, NFL players, okay, I get it. You're putting your bodies on the line. There's a likelihood you might get injured. There's a likelihood that you might not ever be able to walk again. There's a lot of risk that goes into this job. And it's funny because the high-risk jobs, and this is out even outside of the athletic world, people get paid a lot more. Like guys who work on a telephone pole, or they work on an electric pole. They get paid as a lot of money because they're in a high-risk job that could potentially put their lives on the line. Simple as that. Now, do I believe the NFL players should absolutely get their money? Absolutely. But here's the thing. If the NFL doesn't pay attention to that collusion case by Colin Kaepernick, ding, 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 folks. I want people to pay attention to that too. Don't forget about that. If Colin Kaepernick proves his collusion case, you can forget about the CBA now. The CBA will be torn up before 2021, and they can lock out right now and then be done with the situation. And then the NFL at that point, they're not going to really have anything to do because, let's be honest, no young is a stud coming out of college is going to want to come play. Because at that point, the NFL's locked out. Nobody's going to be able to play. So that's what it is. So I want people to understand that would be the great time to see this. And I mean, sports world would be crazy. Because the truth is look at it like this. You have a lockout, then you can go after the contracts that you want. Because then at that point, like, the NFL will have to sit back and reevaluate what is it that they're doing wrong. Because obviously, what is it? The current CBA that they have right now, it does not work. It started in 2011. It's supposed to end in 2021 because it's a 10-year CBA. So clearly that's not going to work right now for these players. And these current players, they're looking like they're getting ready. I mean, Richard Sherman had been sounding off about it for quite some time now. So this would be the time for these players to sound off by it. And the other thing is I want people to understand is Gurley also brings up one last point. If they don't fight, then the NFL is just going to walk all over them. And Richard then also in the same article, it has been said that Richard Sherman and Russell Okung recently said that players in the NFL have to demand change in order for these guys to get what they want. And they're going to have to be forced to give up a portion of their careers in order to make that happen. Because the NFL player's career is a lot shorter than an NBA player's career. That's just reality. I mean, look at Cam Chancellor. Cam Chancellor, arguably one of the greatest safeties of this time. But he had to retire after 8 years because of a neck injury that he's having a hard time recovering from. And he announced this on his Twitter page. Do I believe he will come back to the NFL if that neck starts to heal? We don't know. But the truth of the matter is this. Eric Winston and Todd Gurley are onto something. But if I was them, I would put in a lot of effort into helping Kaepernick with his collusion case, because it mind boggles me how all these players who don't have a job, who are being suspended, and this man still don't got a job. And if I'm the NFLPA, I'm getting behind Kaepernick, and I'm going to help his collusion case be expedited so that way he can prove it, so that way they can win. Because then at that point, you can do a lockout, and then that way you can tear up the CBA and come up with a whole new CBA. And then at that point, they can't stop it. They can't stop it. And Roger Goodell knows this. That's why if you had not noticed, nobody's really talking about it nowadays, because they don't want people to know that there might be a chance that the NFL could lose this fight against Kaepernick, or any other player for that matter. They don't realize how serious that is. And it's about to get real. But ladies and gentlemen, I am out of time. And I love talking to you guys today about all these passionate topics, as you can see that I was passionate about. So I want you guys to go to my social media. Go ahead and go to Facebook. No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show Viewer Group. Then I want you guys to go ahead and look at my blog, No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk.blogspot.com. I'm going to be coming out with a couple of articles this week, so I want you guys to go ahead and read those, because I know you guys are going to have something to say to me next week. And I'm going to post it on my page. And when I do, I want you to spread that like wildfire. Then, go ahead and look at me on Facebook as Shane Hector on Facebook. And Shane _29 Also, Underground SB29, Shez_29 for Instagram, and No BS No Holds Bar for Instagram, and then undergroundsportsllc.blogspot.com. Then, if you want to advertise with the show, contact me at undergroundsportsllc@gmail.com. And that way you can advertise with the show and WBGR. Ladies and gentlemen, I enjoyed talking to you guys today. I will be back next week with more crazy sports news. And I'm going to have some things to talk about next week. So I'm excited. Can't wait to see you guys. Your boy Shane Hector is out of the building. Peace!